Welcome to Business and Wealth Strategy. My name's Karen Newton. I'm your host today. Now, when people ask me about investing, I usually like to take them a step back because wealth is built in a sequence. It's not in a single decision. It's not in ad hoc investing. It's following a route, a pathway that will build the wealth simply by taking these certain steps. Now, we're at the point of the year where people are starting to think about the new year. I got friends who are saying, it's been a horrific year. I'm not celebrating New Year this year. I just want to go to bed, get this year over, and wake up tomorrow in the new year. The sad thing is that if they haven't started to change what they're doing this year, they're not going to have the changes for the new year. Now, that's probably why we see so much advertising this time of the year. And that advertising is all about what to buy, where to invest, what's the best thing to do with the crash that's coming. But very few people are actually talking about foundations. And that's what today's episode is about. It's getting those foundations in place so that wealth can come to you. And I'm going to say that again. You want wealth coming to you because you've got the right foundations in place. So where do we start? Well, the order you do things in matters more than the assets that you choose. And the first thing we do is we start a business. Now, one of the things is most people try to invest first and figure income out later. And the bad part of this, people are under pressure. They're seeing, I'm making 5,000 a month. I'm making 50,000 a month. Doing this one trick and anybody can do it. And they're that stressed with money that they have to get in. And they lose everything. And that's because it creates a pressure. There's a fear. And generally, it's bad timing for the people getting into it. What most people lack is that they don't build controllable income first. Once you have controllable income, then you can invest from strength, not from stress. So what do I mean by controllable income? Well, this is where the business comes in. Now, we have this expression, side hustle. Thankfully, it's slowly fizzling out. It's all about building an online business. Now, online businesses are something that you can do repetitively. You can set them up to run automatically, and you can set them up to generate monthly recurring revenue for you. But one of the benefits of having a business, an online business, is that you're learning skills that compound, and those skills are essential when it comes to investing. It allows you to generate an income that you control. That controlled income means that every month there's a certain amount coming in. But the other thing an online business does is it teaches you flexibility through change. Online businesses change so fast, especially since we've had the era of AI. What you learn today is out of date tomorrow. That's how fast AI is changing everything. And these are important skills that you need to be an investor. Now, an online business is a really powerful foundation because it's low overheads. You can start an online business with no money. Right? You don't need to have expensive costs. It's just your time in setting it up. Every online business is scalable. And the thing is, with an online business, you're not looking at walking out your door and having to sell to the 100 houses around you. You have a global market that can access your products. Now, you don't need to know everything about business. You just need to start and start learning the right things in the right order. Now, once we have our businesses running and we have that regular monthly recurring income, MRR, then we can start investing the profits. We're not risking our lifestyle, we're improving it. And we're not stressing to grow an investment. We are growing from where we are now to where we want to be in the future. Now, the thing is, income alone doesn't create the wealth. Idle money quietly loses value. And I remember years ago, Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lecter were actually some of my first business coaches. And they talked about having this army of workers who were there working 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. Now, that army of workers didn't work 9 till 5. They didn't have holidays. They didn't have sick leave. They worked every single minute, second of the day to make you more money. And that army is your cash. It's every penny or cent that you have. And when you make it work for you, you create this momentum. You're starting to invest profits and create a momentum that just eventually will explode. So what this does is it actually removes emotional pressure from investment decisions. When you know you have the income coming from your business, and when you know it's surplus income, that you have your normal income that you live on every day, you're not under pressure to make decisions about investing. You can take your time, you can learn the steps, you can make sound investment decisions. Now, what we do with our investments is we diversify. First, we've built a business. Now, a business is your number one investment. Okay, it generates your income for you. And that income can go into shares. Shares are income and growth. That is the role of shares. It generates extra income for you. It provides capital growth, capital that can be redeployed in a different way at a later time. So shares give you income and growth. Then we have property. Now, property gives you leverage and stability. And if you've invested, not rushed to get into the investment where you're highly leveraged, but you've gone in and you've managed the leverage, then property prices can go up or down. But you have the stability of knowing you have that asset and it will keep making money for you. And then we have crypto. Now, crypto is asymmetric, and that can bring a bit of excitement in that we want. Because, look, investing is boring. You can sit and watch a tin of paint dry, and that can be more exciting than if you're investing. And that's if you're investing properly. So, crypto just brings that little edge of excitement in for you. Now, diversification across all these assets is not about complexity. It's not about building overwhelm. It's about having lots of little steps that provide resilience. It allows you to navigate whatever is happening in the economy. Then our next step is that we hedge with gold and silver. Excuse me. Hedges don't make you rich, but they do stop you from being wiped out. Now, what do I mean by this? Look, hedging isn't exciting, and that's the whole point. You buy a gold coin or a silver coin, and then you put it in the safe or you put it in the vault, and you just leave it. Okay, but gold and silver over time grow. And when the economy is difficult and you've got other assets dropping in value, gold and silver go up. So they protect your purchasing power during instability. And that's why when we hedge with gold and silver, it allows us to stay calm when cycles turn. Yeah, the shares are dropping, but the gold and silver's going up. Property prices are dropping, gold and silver are going up. It's your way of protecting everything that you have. We hedge, it's your insurance to make sure that you don't get wiped out. Now, markets change, technologies change, but the principles don't. And what we're talking about, what we've been talking about here, is generating multiple income streams. When you have one income stream, you are dependent on that one income. If you have a job, right, you go to your job every day. If you get laid off, that's your income gone. Because you had one income stream. When you have multiple income streams, and the investments I've been talking about today can all create multiple income streams for you, you're less dependent on one system. And that means you make better decisions during uncertainty. You have a lot of stress. We've talked about stress a bit today, and we have removed that stress from us. And that's why this system is consistent. For years, if you follow the same system, you can't help but make money. And that's the reality. If you are doing everything, you're building the business, you're investing the profits, and you're investing into shares, property, crypto, and hedging everything with gold, you're going to make money. And it doesn't need to be a lot that you do. You can start very, very low. You know, when I say very low, I have clients who start with just £10 or $10, €10. You know, you can start exceptionally low if you are doing this properly. So, wealth isn't built by reacting to every headline that's out there. It's built by following a system. And it's a system you trust. And it's a system that works year after year. You don't have to think about it. You just methodically do the same thing every month. So what we've talked about today isn't about speed or shortcuts. It's about building something that lasts. Now, the new year is a fantastic time to start, but it's a time to start thinking in systems. It's a time to focus on building those foundations. It's a time to learn before you rush into something. 2026 is going to be a tough year, but it is a year that you can control. You can control your income, you can control your investments, and you can control building wealth. And you do that by having a system by building the foundations and forgetting all the hype that is out there. Have an amazing 2026. Disclaimer: the information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as financial, investment, legal, or tax advice and should not be construed as such. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and the strategies discussed are based on personal experience and general market knowledge. Always do your own research and consider your individual financial goals, risk tolerance, and personal circumstances before making any investment decisions. I strongly recommend that you consult with a qualified financial advisor or licensed professional before acting on any information discussed in this podcast. Investing involves risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. By listening to this podcast, you agree that the host and associated entities are not responsible for any losses or damages arising from the use of this content.